afternoon, everyone. I have to share my camera now. Just a minute, please. So I believe we can have a hearing. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. You are all welcome to this session of the training. We are going to continue from where we stopped last week. Last week we installed PHP on our systems. We installed on Windows and we installed on macOS. So we will pick from the scratch, because I know that a lot of us have questions we have to ask, we like to ask regarding what exactly PHP is, what it does, and how to get going from there. PHP is a server-side scripting language, right, that is used to handle web applications, website designs, API development, and the likes. To properly give us more context of how exactly it works and how it relates to web application development, I will prefer to just give us a simple diagram. Let me see if I can share the screen and then shows something from here. So I'm sharing the screen now. So can we all see my screen? Just signal, yeah, thank you. So let me see. And share it again. Stop sharing. Then share this. Yeah. Okay. So okay, coming up now. Yes, screen that I want us to use. Just to put some diagrammatic illustration to what we are going to how we understand what PHP exactly is. So right now, I believe we all know what website is. Let's pick it up from that concept. Concept of a website is you open your browser, you type in whatever address you want to visit in the address bar, and you see the output, right? You see beautiful colors, you see nice layouts, you see the information you are looking for, you are able to scroll and do all of those things, right? So whatever you see and interact with is being handled by the front end. Okay, so here we will say this is front end, right? This is front end. I just believe we can see my screen. So this is front end. Now, the front end is an application that is built and made to run, right, through the browser. Okay, so an example of a browser, as we already know, is Chrome. We have Safari and the likes of them. You can access all of these browsers via any device, your laptop, with your phone. Now, what you see that is functional through your browser is being powered by another application that's at the back. And that application is what we are trying to focus on in this training, right? So as we have this front end, so we know that the front end is powered by a browser. So we know that this is a browser, basically, that you can see this box represents a browser, okay? So now there is the unseen part, the part that is not visible to the users, right? That is the backend now, the backend. The backend is also an application, right, that is written to carry out logics, to read from the database, to save into the database, to delete data from the database, to update data from the database, and carry out some computation following some predefined or written logic. Okay, for example, when you go to you visit any website and they tell you sign in, they bring a page for you to sign in. You click on the sign in link, and then it brings the username and the password for you. When you put in all of that, what the system basically does when you click on the button to sign in is it sends a request to the backend. Okay, it sends a request to the backend like this. So you call this understanding. As much as we tried not to be too theoretical, right? This very basic understanding will help you to build, your knowledge as you move on in the development, where you will see the practical workings of these things by the time we start writing the code now. So don't worry, this will not take time. It's just for you to have a good context to what is happening behind the code. So this is an HTTP request now, right? Let's say HTTP request. Okay, that is sent to the backend to say so and so, that's a new user is trying to log into their account. And so it sends whatever you input in it, right? So this backend API has a way of receiving the request that the front end application sends. So what it does is it receives it, checks from the database. So the database is going to be somewhere as well, right? Let's say the database is this is the database which the backend application has a way of communicating with. Okay, so your data and every other user's data are stored inside this database, right? So when it receives the request, it checks inside this database, and then if it finds it that your email or username that you entered and the password is found there, then it returns a response. It is made to return a response in whatever format to the front end, right? So this would be HTTP response in this case. Okay, this would be HTTP response in whatever format, right? Then the front end then allows you to visit the next page. In this case, maybe the next page is the dashboard, where you can then have access to some other functionalities and all that, right? So that is basically what happens behind the wall. So you work with HTTP request. Now, having this understanding, right, we are going to practicalize it and see how this works. How can we run a PHP script to function like that? Okay, PHP has the ability to run HTML codes. It can run HTML codes. I believe we all are familiar with what HTML code is. HTML is a front-end hypertext language, right? It is not a programming language really, because when you say programming, then you are able to hold some variables, you're able to do all of those things. So you might not really call it a programming language. You can call it a hypertext language, okay? And the full meaning is hypertext markup language, right? So PHP scripts, whatever it is that you might want to call it, in as much as it has that extension of PHP, has the ability to run HTTP code. Okay, so without wasting time, I believe we have a clear understanding of what PHP is and what it does. And the full meaning of PHP, it's not literal, it's not like P is something, H is something. It's just basically hypertext processor. Yeah, hypertext processor. That's what PHP is. You might want to say, yeah, what's now the P before it? But you know, I think back in the days they used to call it page hypertext processor or something like that. But you know, nowadays it's just basically hypertext processor, right? So let me try to start a PHP server now so that we can see how it's going to be done. But before we go to that, although I believe everybody now has PHP on their system. If you don't, please visit the last lesson. So now we are going to start writing PHP code. I'm having some issues with my setup here, so just bear with me for a moment. Yeah. Yeah. So so now, if you all have VS Code, I believe we all have VS Code installed on our systems. Please, can we open VS Code now? Can we just open VS Code? Just you know, go to, if you are using Windows, click on the Start button on the taskbar, that long bar at the bottom. The button at the left corner, you will see that button there. You can just type VS Code there, click on it, and then type VS Code, then it will launch VS Code for you. You know, and for Mac users, if you press Command Spacebar, and then you just type VS, then it will bring VS Code for you. Just type it in full. VS Code here, and then you can have VS Code like this. Please, can I get some reaction if we have been able to open VS Code just before we write our first? Okay, good. Okay. So now if you're having any issues opening VS Code, just put it in the message. Shegun will be able to help us out if you're having any trouble. Now, so we are going to create our first PHP script. Okay, when we say script, in this case, it's any file that has the extension .php, right? Any file that you create that has the extension .php. I believe you all know what extensions are. So I'm going to create a PHP script now. If I click on this icon right here, if you can see my screen, if I click on this, we will have a new file. and we can create a new file. If I say index.php, for example, you can name your file anything, right? But the keyword index is used when you need a default script that will be prompted or that will automatically be opened when you start your server, right? That's so if you name any file index.php, that file is going to be your default file that will be opened when you launch the server. Okay, so don't worry about that. You will get that concept clearly, but just know that you can name your file anything, right? It's just that the word index is reserved for default files. If you don't understand it, don't worry about it. You will get it with time. Right. So we have our first file. Have we all been able to create a file? Let me see if you have been able to create your first PHP file. Can you please stumble? I want to be sure that we are getting along. Can you please show just show a reaction if you have been able to? Okay, please. I need more people. I think that was just one person. Create your PHP file. Let me show us again. I'm going to create another file. This is it. Okay, I think what the issue might be is you don't have a folder yet. Yes, so I think what we'll do is let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close this folder. I'm going to close this folder, right? Yeah, I apologize for that. I think it's because I already have that file, that folder opened on my. Yeah, so this is what you might get. This is what you might be seeing. Okay, if you are seeing this on your screen, then it means you need to open a folder. If you don't have any folder you can point to, you most likely just want to create a new folder where you will store your files. That's the idea, is just to have a folder where we keep all our files. Okay, don't bother, don't be confused. When you open VS Code, you need a folder to keep all where your files are. So because we are just starting this tutorial, we need a new folder. Next time when we come, we might not need to create a new folder. We might just, point to open that same folder that we have created. So now what we are going to do is say open. Okay. Whether you are on MacBook or anything or Windows, you still the same process still applies to you. So you can go to any location. So if I click on document now, right, I can decide to go to PHP, okay, and then if I need to, I click on PHP because that's where I want to store my PHP files for now, okay. So if you don't have any folder anywhere, just go to documents and then click new folder, okay. When you click on new folder, just name it anything. And name it anything. You can say tech tutorial or simply tutorial, and then you say create. Okay. When you create it, then you can open it. So we now have a folder opened. Okay. Then we can create our file inside that folder. We can create our file inside that folder. So we have a folder called tutorial. We are now going to create a file inside the tutorial folder. So to do that, I will click on this icon. So this icon is to create a new folder. This other icon, the second icon here, to create a new folder inside that tutorial folder. Okay, this is to create a file. I believe we know the difference between file and folder. Okay, I don't want to confuse us, so I keep repeating the same thing so that we can get it. Now let's just create a new file. In this case, let's just say home. Like I said, we can name it anything, home.php. Okay, just make sure you give it that extension .php. Whatever you call your file, add .php to it. Okay, so Have you been able to do that? I think I should get some more reactions now. If you have been able to do that, please can you react? Let me see your hands. Okay. No one has been able to create a folder or create the file? Or is there any question from anyone if you are having difficulty creating a PHP file? Can you signal up? Created. Okay, let me check the message. Okay, so we have one person saying created. Any other person who has created the file? Please, guys.
I'm having issue. My system is taking time to build for a while now. I don't know why. I'm just sitting in front of it, so I don't want to draw us back. So I will just.
All right, that's fine. When you get there and you can't create the file, just drop it on. But it's a simple thing. I believe you should be able to do that. But if you are having any difficulty, just drop it on the message channel. Can we move on? Has everybody been able to create it? Is there any other person having challenge? Okay, so let's just move on. Let's move on. Yeah. So now we have created our first PHP file. We will now write our first PHP code. Okay. When you create a file and it has the .php extension, what you must start that file with. Okay, I think someone's hand is up. It's up now. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So when you create a file, it's a PHP file, and it has that extension, the first thing to write, to type in that's your file, right? So that the engine can be, or the runtime engine can be able to pick it or run it successfully, is you start it with this code, less than $PHP. Okay, the moment you have this there, you have successfully written your first line to tell the runtime engine that this is a valid PHP script. It's not just about the extension now, but what I've written inside is also valid. So it will be able to run your code successfully. So every code, every PHP code must be started with this. Okay, if you have a script and that script has this .php extension, you must start it with this. Okay, and then you must end it with this. Okay, so this is the starter, this is the ending line of code. You must start with this, and you must close that whole script with this. So now, the first code you want to write is echo. We'll say echo, right? We are going to echo hello world. Hello world. And then for every line of code, right, that you write, you must end it with a semicolon. That semicolon tells the runtime engine, PHP engine, that you are through with that line. And that is the end of that line. And that makes the script valid, or that line of code valid. If you don't put it, then that script will not run. It will keep throwing an error. Okay, so when you do this, you save it, right? Let me clean it, and then let me put this. You will notice that without saving it, you have this rounded dot here. The moment you save it, right? The moment you save it, this disappears from there. Once you have this thing there, this rounded white circle here on VS Code, that tells you that you've not yet saved your code. So if you save it, it disappears, and then you have that close icon. Okay, so this has been saved now. Now to run this, okay, what I will do is I will go to Let me close whatever I have here. To run this, so that we can see. Yeah. So to run this code now, okay, to run it, I will go to where I have my files. Okay, let me say document, and then let me say PHP. Let me say tutorial, and then just on this folder, remember that this is the folder that I opened here in VS Code for Mac OS, right? For Mac OS users, right click on it, you come here, go to new terminal at folder. So that will open the terminal for you and set the pointer to that directory. So automatically you have your terminal at that tutorial directory, right? So then you can now start the server. For you to be able to run this code, you need to start the server. Okay. We can run it on the terminal where the interpreter will run the code for us. It will read the interpreter, PHP interpreter will run through the script line by line and tell us the output of this code. So I want to run this code, then I will tell us what the code we wrote means. So if I say PHP, and I say I want to run it on this terminal first before I go to run it on the browser. If I say home.php, remember that we have installed PHP, and that is why we can use this keyword. We have installed PHP, and we have added PHP in the environment part. So when I check, when I use this code, this command PHP, it will recognize it. For me to be sure that I've installed PHP, I will say PHP-version or PHP-v for short. If I do this, then it will tell me the version of PHP that I'm using. You can also check from your computer to be sure what version of PHP you have there. I know we treated this in the last class. So I will now say, let me say clear, and I will say PHP home.php. So if I run this, and you see, it gives me the output of our code, right? So what does this code mean? You must be able to interpret every line of code that you are written. That will enable you to understand what your code is doing and how to handle it going forward from there. So this is a starter. You must start every PHP script with this. This echo keyword, right, is used to give you the output of your code. Whatever instruction you tell the script, the PHP script to write for you, right? When you use the word echo and you pass anything in front of it, whether a variable or whatever data type, it will output it for you. Okay, but we are still going to data type, so you will know why it will always, output some certain data types and not some. Okay, so you will understand that. But the keyword echo, just keep that in mind, that the keyword echo is used to output data to either the client or to you, the user, through whatever interface. In this case, we are using the terminal. So it outputs hello world that we passed in this code to the terminal. Okay, that is because I'm running it directly on the terminal. So please, I want to be sure that everybody has gotten to this stage before I move forward. We are going to be very fast by the time I'm certain that we are now able to run our first line of code in PHP. We are going to move quite fast, but I need to be sure. Please, if you have been able to run that code, and it gives you that output, and you thumb up. Okay, I think Olaide, you have a question. Olaide, can you go ahead?
Yeah, my question is, I didn't quite get the way you run the terminal.
The way I run the terminal. Okay, you can do it anyhow you can. What we just want to achieve is that this must be the current directory that your terminal should be at. Okay. You understand? Please, can you mute your listen? If you need to speak, you can mute. Thank you, because of the echo. So what we want to achieve by coming to the terminal is to make sure that our terminal is pointing to this direction, to this directory. You know, this is the folder that we created the other time in VS Code, right? And this folder exists. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are running our script or whatever we are running from this directory. Okay, so you can either do it that way by coming to that directory, coming to this directory where we have a tutorial. You right click on it, okay, then you click. Olaide, please, are you with me? You go to where you have your folder. Can you unmute and let me know whether you created the folder? Have you created the folder?
Yes, I've created the folder.
Yeah. Can you please go there and right click on that folder?
Okay.
You right click on that folder, and then you come to services. If you don't have services here, you might have you might have an arrow or something there. If you go there, you'll be able to see something like this, where you can now say new terminal as folder. Let's go on. Someone else, what's his hand is up?
Yeah. Do we create the folder on the VS Code?
Yes, you should create it on VS Code, but you can create it anyhow. You can either create it from the Finder or Windows Explorer or File Explorer, as you may have it,
okay.
or you can create it on your VS Code.
Yeah, because on my VS Code was new file, so I clicked on the new file.
Where did you go to? File, the file menu at the top. Is that where you click on?
Yeah, I just sent a picture, like like what I saw, and then I clicked on it.
Okay, so let me see the picture that you sent. You sent that on WhatsApp, right?
Yes, sir.
Just a moment, please. Yes, so don't click on new file. You know, under that start, you have new file, you have open file, you have open folder.
Yeah.
So if you click on open folder,
okay,
click on open folder, then you'll be able to see
yes,
new folder. So you can create a new folder wherever you like. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you open it once you have created it. Okay, so Olaide, have you been able to do that now? Okay,
yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I believe we all have been able to run our first PHP code. We have been able to run our PHP code since there's no more reaction from anybody, right? So we will proceed to other things. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So yeah, if we let's go to our next. So there are keywords. There are keywords in PHP. Okay, and part of one of those keywords that we have just used now is echo. Okay, we have used echo. There are other keywords that we'll get to use as we move on, right? We would move on to creating variables. You can see that I literally just wrote this inside the code and it outputted it exactly the way I've written it. I could do something like greetings. I could create a variable now. So to define a variable in PHP, you start with a $sign and then you put whatever name you want it to have. Okay, put a $sign and then followed by whatever name you want it to have. What you are not allowed to add is special characters that is not underscore. You can use underscore, right? But you cannot use any other special characters. Okay, you are limited to that. So I will advise that you only use alphabets and numbers and then special characters. So you can use special characters, you can use numbers, you can use anything, but you cannot use numbers to start, right? So that is to define a variable. Yeah. Janola, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry to be asking all this question.
No problem.
The already done that what you said. So I've gone through to open the file, and also I have options that are saying go to file, show and run command, search for text.
Okay, so let's do it this way quickly so that other people too can learn from it. Can you share your screen quickly and let's check it. Once we have that set up, we would have, because we still have a lot to do today. We have a lot of yeah. Are you sharing your screen now?
I'm not sharing it actually. I'm actually on my phone, so it might take. I'm trying to show here.
Okay, so to make it faster, because it's going to be difficult to see.
Yes, see it now.
This way, if you can you join from your laptop, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can join from your laptop. Shay?
Yeah, I think I'm having the same issue, but I'm on my laptop. A Mac though. Should I share?
A Mac, yes, please share your screen. So that will guide other Mac users.
So I'm sharing my entire screen. What should I be doing next?
Sharing.
I am just not
yet. Yeah, okay, I can see your screen now. So what issue are you having?
I've just typed this, but I've not run.
You have not run. Okay, so can you go to you can run it from, please. I didn't mention this, but I think it's better I mentioned it. You can run, since you have terminal here, you can run it from your terminal down here, right? That's one way. The other way is the one that I did by myself. So if you go down where you have terminal, that's your prompt.
Yes.
Yeah. No, your terminal, yes. And then you put the command there. Have you saved it? If you look at that white circle on your file, it means that you've not saved that file. So you need to first save it before you run it. Okay. Can you save it?
Just command S, right?
Yes, just command S. Yeah. So if you now go there, yeah, just command S. Go to now type the command php space index.php.
PHP space index.php.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then press enter. Could not open impute file. Okay, you are probably not at that that directory. Okay, did you create a folder? Did you save this your index.php inside the folder? Where is the folder? You've not opened that folder. So please click on open folder on the left. Click on VS Code, go back to VS Code, click on open folder.
Open folder.
Yeah, where is it?
This Techhaven.
Okay, say open. Click on open. Yes, just say open.
Yeah.
No.
Open
Just to open. So click on open folder again, but in this case, don't click on any file. Click on open. Yeah, don't click on the index. So just say open.
Okay.
Say open. Click
Just
open now. Click open. Yeah, good. Yes, I trust. Say yes, I trust the authors. Yeah, good. So you can see the difference now. You now have your Explorer showing you the current directory that you are in, which is Techhaven. And then you can see your file inside. So now if you try to access the terminal once again, right, you can either do it from here or you go to, first click on open that PHP, that index.php. Click on it. Now, go to file. Can you go to the file menu at the top? Go to the file menu at the top. So go to terminal. Go to terminal. I just wasn't seeing your menu bar. Go to terminal. Yes, say new terminal. So yeah, so you are now, you can see Techhaven directory there now. It means your terminal is pointing to that directory. So that is very important. Everybody please take note of that. So now run PHP space index.php. Press enter. So you see your code is running, right? So this is one way, we're running it from the terminal inside VS Code, right?
Okay.
Let's do the other way so that others can get it, and then we'll move on. Please, can you go to your Pathfinder or whatever that you use? No, not terminal. This is a terminal, right?
Yes, this terminal.
Yeah, I want us to go to leave the terminal. Just don't bother about the terminal.
Okay.
Go to your Finder here. Click on, no, go down. Yeah, you can also search for it here. Finder, just put Finder.
Finder.
Yeah.
Okay. Finder is here.
Yeah, click on Finder. Now
Yeah.
go to navigate to where you have that Techhaven directory.
Okay.
Wherever you have that Techhaven directory, go there. Yeah, that's it. So right click on that folder. No, don't open it, just go back, go back, go back. So you when you are trying to open a terminal, you don't need to click on any particular file. It's the directory that you have business with. Do you get? So right click on that folder. Now go down and say new terminal as folder. New terminal as folder. Can you see that it's now pointing? You have a terminal that is pointing to that directory for you.
Yes.
Okay. So if you press PHP space index.php now and see what happens. Press enter. Can you see that it's working? So the most important thing is to have your terminal pointing to the directory you want to run your stuff from. Do you get?
Okay. Yes.
So I'm going to quickly be running some PHP code now and be explaining some stuff to us, right? And I would want us to follow, since we are all able to run PHP code now.
Thank you. Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, please stop sharing your screen.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, so my screen is being shared now. And okay, so yeah, so I was trying to explain to us how we can create a variable. Okay, a variable is a location on the memory. Okay.
Yeah, you forgotten me though. I was waiting.
Sorry about that. Please, can you quickly share your screen as well so that the Windows users can guide the Windows users. Can share your screen, please. Okay. So what Tinola, please, can you still remember what I said is the most important thing for you to have on VS Code? It's the folder. Your folder must be showing under Explorer. So can you see that you have a folder there which you call backend folder? Okay.
Yes.
But one thing that you are not doing right there is you are leaving space, putting space in between your backend and folder. Please avoid this. It's not as if it will not work, but it's not really a good practice to name your folder and put space. You can separate it with, sorry?
Can I recreate another one or edit?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you go to File, click on File.
Okay.
And say Close Folder. Go down and say Close Folder. That's the close folder, everyone. Then go back to click on Open Folder now. Click on Open Folder.
Okay.
So now you can create a new one. So you can put an hyphen or an underscore to differentiate between backend and folder.
Okay.
Yeah, and to make things easy for you,
Yes, sir.
it might be better that you make it all lowercase. Do you understand? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So that's just a common practice. Yeah, so now you can open the folder. Just say select folder and click on the select folder down there. Yeah. Wait for it.
Yeah.
So click on that Explorer, that first. Okay, just hold on. Let it complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So say yes, I trust the author. Good. Now move your mouse on that folder, backend folder.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the first icon by the right, you see the first icon that has a plus.
Yeah. New file.
Yeah, that's new file. So click on it. Now good. Enter whatever name you want to give your file. For example, index.php.
Okay.
Press enter. Good. And then you can now write your first PHP code.
Oh, great.
So can you quickly do that? Then we can run it together.
Okay. What do I write? Okay, let me say
all in lowercase. All in lowercase.
Can I say welcome?
No. So to start a PHP script, you must put less than question mark. That's greater than. That's greater than. Less than question mark. Yeah, that's it. You can just select it. That suggested it for you. Just press enter or you select it. Select it. Yeah, good. So now leave a line and then close it. Leave a line. Go to the next line. Go to the next line. Yeah. Leave another line, like go to the next line to close it. Yeah, now close it with question mark greater than.
Yeah.
Question mark greater than. Yeah. So go to line 2. Go to line 2 and then put echo. Type echo. Yeah. Space. Double quote.
Okay.
Like double quote. Quotation mark. Yeah, and then put hello world and close the quote.
Voice space.
Hello world, then close the. So what you didn't put quote, you put column there.
Oh, yeah.
Then for every line of PHP code, what did I say you must end it with?
You must
Exactly.
end the question on the.
With a no, for every line of the code, right, you must end it with a semicolon. So go to after the quotes and put a semicolon there. That tells PHP that you are through with that line. And that makes it a valid statement. Do you get?
Yes.
So you must end all your statements or expression or line, whatever line of code with that semicolon. Now to run it, click on terminal at the top. On terminal, new terminal. Just wait for it to set your terminal to the current directory that you are in. Wait for it.
I'm not sure anything.
It's taking, yeah, it's done now. It's done now. It's done now. Don't create a new one. Done now. So you can see that it has pointed the directory to backend dash folder. So run your code now by typing on the terminal down.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Type PHP space, then the name of your file, index.php.
Let me ask you, is that all?
Yeah, you can press enter.
Yeah. So I have a question. I don't know. I just want to try to use it to refresh whatever I know about this coding thing before. Okay. So this command that we just did is to like send the directory at the back end the code or the direction you want it to go. Am I right or something?
I didn't really get that, but let me explain that command. The command you just wrote now is PHP. PHP is a keyword that calls the PHP engine. Remember that you installed PHP the last time, and now you are able to run PHP-V. Can you type PHP space -V on that terminal? Space. So before you press enter, yeah, okay, that's fine. You know, before you install PHP, if you run this code, it will tell you that PHP is not found as, it's not a valid command or something like that. So it was not able to find PHP as a valid command. But because you have installed PHP, it's able to call that PHP runtime engine, right, to run your script for you. Okay, so that command that you typed earlier, you are saying PHP engine, please run this script for me. That's why you put the name of your script after the PHP keyword. Do you understand? So whatever file that you have that is that ends with or that has .php extension, right? If you type PHP space, the name of the file dot the extension, what you are saying is PHP runtime, please run this script for me. Then it will now run, the interpreter will now run every line of code that you have written in that script and then interpret it. So wherever it finds echo, it will return the output on that terminal.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So echo is to show the user the output of what it has run. If you tell it run 2 times 2 and echo the results, it will compute it and then use echo to show you the output, which is 4.
Yeah. So yes, I do. So it's like what I was trying to ask was that So if I give a command now, it is the command I give for the code that it will show the front end user or the people that are viewing from the front.
Exactly. So whatever logic, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can do with PHP. You can set different lines of commands. Say, let X be this, the way we do our mathematics back in the days.
Yeah.
Let X be this, let Y be this, X plus Y, and then let Z be X plus Y. So if you now send that Z, which is supposed to be whatever the value of X is plus whatever the value of Y, if you send that Z as echo, or you return it as a response to the front end will receive the value of Z. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. So it's that simple. That's what that command is doing. So I believe everybody is now able to set and run their first PHP code. Okay. So now let's go over to what I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain variable. I'm going to use a variable now, and then what I explain what it does. So now I'm setting a variable, and the name of that variable is greeting. Okay, like I said, you can use alphabets, numbers, and underscore, but you cannot start with a number, right? You can only start with either underscore or a alphabet. Okay, so greeting. If I say greeting, then I say hello world, and then as usual, we'll end it with a semicolon. You can see that it's throwing an error, underlining this in red, just because it's not saying this as a valid statement yet. Okay, so if I put this, then it will be able to say it as a valid statement. So then it removes that error line. So instead of, I have set the value of my greeting, right? I've set this hello world to be the value of this variable. Okay. And what I am telling PHP now is, PHP, find a place on the memory to save this guy. Right? Find a place on the memory to save this guy. And then anytime I need it in my script or within my PHP application lifecycle, let it give me the greeting, the appropriate greeting. Okay. So hello world. And then instead of now echoing, we all know what echo is now. Echo means to output something. So instead of now, explicitly typing hello world here, I can say greeting. Okay. So I'm saying let the value of greeting, which is a variable, be hello world. And then I'm saying show the front end or the client the value of this variable greeting. So let's try this now. And then you go to your terminal and then you run it again, PHP home.php. Okay, then it will still show you hello world. So I want to, just for the purpose of those of us that are using index so that we all be doing the same thing, I will rename this. So if I want to rename it, I just right click on it. I say rename. I want to rename it to index instead of home. Okay, I've renamed it now to index. So everybody please use index. So now I've been able to do this. Let me change this now. It's 4 o'clock, so I want to say good evening. Good evening, everyone. Okay, then I say greeting. If I save it and then I come to the terminal to say PHP index.php, it's going to tell me good evening, everyone. Okay, so we see how variables are set in that case. Now let's take it a little bit higher. Let's say let X, okay, let X be, let me not use, let's say first name, let's first name be Adebayo, right? Let last name, this is first name, okay, and let last name be, so you can use your name This is my name. Okay. So I can combine these two variables together, and then I want to echo that to the front end. Okay. So I say first name, right? Space. I put a dot. That dot is used for concatenating strings. Okay. What concatenating means is to join strings together. Then you will see how it works now. Dot. I want to leave a space, right? As an empty quote, and then I put space in between. Okay. And then I put last name. So what I expect this to give me, it doesn't matter that I'm leaving a line here. It doesn't matter. You can leave lines anywhere, right? Just make sure it is readable for you. And then I put another concatenator there. Okay. So this period, this dot that you see is used to join how many stuff together. First name, empty space, last name. That's what you see me doing. So whether I put space here or not, it doesn't matter. Whether I put space in between them or not, it doesn't matter. So I can close the space if I like. Close the space. It's still going to give me the same thing. Okay, but just for readability, I want to keep space. Okay, so what are we expecting? First name, space, last name. That's what we are expecting to as the output. So if I save this now, and then I come there and I say PHP index.php, and then I say enter, and you see Adebayo Olukunle. So if I want to take it forward, right? I want to go a little bit advanced, and I say greet user. If I say greet user, right? Can you see what I just did? I name my variable greet user. So I say greet, and then to differentiate between greet and the user, I just use the first word, the first letter there to be uppercase. That's just for me to be able to identify that variable easily. There's nothing special about doing that. Okay, greet user, then I say, okay, I think someone's hand is up. Let me get that thing. Is it a question or the message from someone? Okay, so I can't see any hand up. If you have a question, just unmute and ask. So I'm saying greet user, then I will say, yeah,
So
please go on.
the terminal. So
Yeah.
after the first name, so we just go to the terminal down, the one that was showing the imputes. You know when we click enter, it's going to bring it's going to be the output.
Yeah.
Then it's going to show like a column where you can type. So we just type the first name and enter there, right? If I'm right.
Is it on the terminal?
Yes.
No. You are not. All you are doing on the terminal is to type the code that runs your script. And this is just. Can you see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes.
The code that runs your script is PHP and then the name of your script. That's all you are typing on the terminal. And once you press enter, it will run. Like I said, what that code does is it interprets each line of code that you have entered into that file. That's your script. And then it gives you the output. Wherever it finds echo, it will show you something there. Do you understand?
Yeah, perfect. Button.
Yeah, so you write your code on VS Code, and then you run it on the terminal. That's what we are doing for now. And like I said, we can also run it on the browser, but we are just still running it on the Google. Soon go to the browser. So I believe everybody is getting it. I want to greet the user now. Okay, I want to say greet user. Then I say welcome. So I will pass a string, right? This is a string. Hello. Then I leave a space. Then I concatenate it, right? Don't forget that dot is used for concatenating. Concatenate it with first name and last name. Okay, so I say first name. If I just want to say first name alone, I can leave it at that. If I wanted to show both names, the first name and the last name, I can further concatenate it, put another space, concatenate, last name. But maybe this is too much for us. I'm not sure, but I think it's pretty much straightforward based on what I've explained earlier. Hello, comma, space, first name, another space, then last name. That's what we are expecting. So let's save this and then let's run it. So we just press command index.php and then you press enter. Then, okay, sir. If you notice that it's still showing me Adebayo Olukunle, why? Even though I have created and defined another variable here, okay, my echo is just still showing first name space last name, and that's why it's just showing me that it has already interpreted this guy, but it's not echoing it since we have not passed that variable yet. So I think someone has a question. Lady, let's go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Can you please share your screen? The view here is not very large, so I'm seeing it's so tiny. So I don't know if there's anything that can be done to make it.
No, if you pin it, you will see it big. Is it okay now? Is it big now? I've just pinned it now, so it should be big, right?
Okay, thank you.
It's big now, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so good. So, yes, so I'll just pass great user right here. So what I'm teaching us now, I've taught us how to define or declare a variable, okay, and pass a string to it, and how to join strings together, okay. So I will pass great user here. So I'm saying when the user runs you, this is my script, index.php. Whenever PHP runs you, right, evaluate, interpret all this, right, and then return greet user. So to greet the user, I'll come here and I'll say PHP run, and then to say hello, Adebayo Olukunle. And what have I done? I only declared those variables, and then I pass the output here. Okay. So the same thing we can do for other variables. So let me do something that we can be more relatable. It can be more relatable. Let me say, okay, let me create a new file. Then I call that file. Let me just call it anything. Like I said, we can call it anything. Let me say login.php. Okay, for example, that's another file. And when that comes up, I'll start it less than $PHP. Okay, and then I'll make sure that I close it so that I won't forget. Then in between the opening and the closing, I can now type mine. So I want to say let X be 4. Then I close that declaration. Okay, I'll close it. Then let Y be 6. Okay, so what I've done here, don't forget, I've just told PHP to save 4 in a particular location that is named X, and then save another value which is 6 in a particular location which is Y. Okay, so if I say let Z be X plus Y, okay, because I really want to go fast with us, so I'll just use some of these things and then mention what they are meant for. Okay, but I don't just want to jump into it. So I want to go a little bit gradual with us. So what we are expecting Z, what are we expecting Z to be? Z should be 4 plus 6. Okay, so if I echo this now, I say echo. So I say echo Z. I close it. If I run this now, I say PHP login.php, then I say, then it's going to show me 10. All right. If you notice the difference between this and this file here that I used before and this file here, If you notice this declaration that I did throughout here, they are all strings because they are wrapped up in quotation marks. Can you see? Everything that I typed here are wrapped up in quotation marks. But you can see that typing 4 or 6, I didn't put them in quotation marks. Just so that's because they are numbers. So every text, whatever text that you want it to be outputted exactly the same way, right? You want whatever you type inside should come out that same way, then put it in a quote, and that will be called string. That data type is called string. Whatever you want to be regarded as number, so that mathematical expressions or calculations can be done on it. Okay, then you should make sure that you just type them barely like that. Don't put them in strings, in quotes, right? Don't do this. Don't do this for numbers. Okay, they are real numbers. Don't do this. Although PHP has a way of converting those data types behind the wood, because it sees that this is 4. If I use it like that too, it will still work. But please don't do that. Okay, just type them barely and then run them. So that is that. Now I'm going to create a simple HTML for us now, and that HTML will be we'll have some PHP variables inside it, then we'll go from there. So I think that's the one we now run on the browser for the first time. So if I come to PHP index, this index, I want to first of all, let me remove this guy, so that I won't confuse you. Let me rename this guy. I will just rename it as greet.php. Okay, then I will create another one as index.php. Okay, so I now have a new file called index.php. So what I'm going to be doing there is I will open the first line. Before I do that, let me create a simple web page. Okay, so let me say, Doug, if you say HTML5, HTML colon, can you see it has suggested it for you, right? So just click on it, then to give you this scaffold, the skeletal structure of HTML. Okay, so please do that, and let me know that you are able to bring this up. You're able to create the structure of an HTML file. Do that and let me see. So you can see, I call it structure because you can see that it has this code, doc type, it has HTML, it has head, it has body, then it's closed by HTML, right? So that's the skeletal structure of HTML. And we said HTML is a front-end hypertext language, okay? So if I come here and then I say h1 tag, and I say this is my first web page. Okay, then I save this. All right. Okay, someone has a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, it didn't give me the skeletal structure though, but I don't know.
What do you have a? Do you now have a new file, or there's nothing inside that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you type HTML, and then it will give you a suggestion. You will see HTML column 5 in the suggestion that it gives you. Just select it. Okay, let me try that again. Let me do that again. Come in. If you look at my screen, screen again. It has brought it now.
It brought a string, $sign and string, like HTML.
No. Can you see? Look at my screen again. Can you see that there's nothing inside this file now?
Yes.
Can you see? So look at what I'm going to type. HTML. Can you see? Can you see that it has given me some suggestions? So I will select this. Okay, I will select this.
Yes, I saw what I was doing wrong. I was starting with the less than.
No,
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't do that. Because if you do that, then it probably means you want to type the whole thing yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So it's either you do that or you do doc. If you do doc too, it will work. Okay.
Yeah.
But then it might not just start with doc type. So it's better to say HTML5, select it, and to start properly, a proper structure of HTML5 for you. Okay. So then when you save that, okay, and you type H1 within the body. Okay, I believe we are all familiar with HTML. I believe we are all familiar with HTML. If we are not, then maybe we might want to look into it a little bit. Okay, just if we are not, please type it in the message that I'm not familiar at all with HTML, so we can see what we can do about that. But I will just to assume that we are within the body tag, right? Just type H1. It means you want to declare H1 tag. So if you say H1 and then you press enter, it will open this tag for you. Then you can now type inside. Okay. So where we are going, we want to see how we can use what is it called? PHP to control this page. Okay. So now we have this. Save it and then let's run our code as usual. If I say PHP index.php and I press enter, you can see it has given me everything that I've written in that file. Okay. So let me clear this. Let me clear it. So now, if you are able to do that and you don't have any question, then you are doing well. You are really doing well. So if you go to the next, if you have any question, please ask. Don't be scared of any question. Please don't feel bad. Don't be ashamed to ask any question. Yeah, please.
Well, I was able to do it, and I got this is my first web page too. But it actually, but not just that, it showed the entire.
Yeah, everything, the content of the file, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
But because it's a PHP file, it will show, and you are running it with the PHP runtime engine, it will show everything that you have in there. You will see what happens now when I do this. Before we now go to the browser, you will see what happens. Just go to create a line at the beginning. You know, it was like this. Put your mouse, your cursor here, and press enter. It will create a line here. Okay, an empty line. And now go to your grids or whatever you rename this as and copy this guy there. It means you want to create your PHP here. You want to put some variables here. Okay, if you put some variable there, and then in this case, don't echo the great user here, such that this is what you have. Please, if you have any question, ask. I don't want to confuse you. I just want you to get what I'm doing. Okay, so and then bring we now want to echo this great user in this place. Okay, so you see what happens if I say H1 and then I say PHP, right? Great user, then I close it. But this great user now, I have to put echo behind it. So I'm not putting echo, then I want to do something like this. So not to confuse you for that, let me just use the regular tag, starting tag that we are aware of, right? PHP. You know, I told you that to run any PHP code, you have to start it with this. Because we want this PHP code. You know, we have closed this here. Because we have closed this here, right? We have to open it again right here. Okay, so we'll say PHP echo, then the variable, which is great user, and then ideally we should close it with a semicolon, and then close that PHP. Okay, so if I save this and I come here to say PHP index, then you see Can you see the code? But instead of it showing me greet user, it's showing me hello Adebayo Olukunle, which is the value of that thing. So we are going to run this on the browser now. We are going to run this on the browser now. So to run this on the browser, okay, we need to start a development server. Okay, we are going to tell PHP, please start a development server for us. Then I will explain what that means. I will not go too deep so I'm not to confuse us, but I will explain what that means. So I say PHP.s, right? We want to be able to access this thing via the browser, for example. Just to make it simple. Then I say localhost, colon 8000. That's the port. Just type this. Don't worry about it. I will explain what it does and why we are using that. But just type it for now and press enter. Then you will see PHP. It will show me the version, development server. It's telling me that I started the development server. So I will just copy this guy. Okay, copy this guy. And then I'll come here, open a new tab, all right, and paste what you copied here and press enter. Then you will see that it will be showing the index.html by default. The index.php rather. This file is what it will be showing by default. So have we done that? I want to be sure that everybody has gotten to that stage before we move on.
We just want to try it, sir.
Okay, please do. Please do. Please try it. If you have any questions, please ask me. We are going to move quite faster from there. So it is very important that everybody is at that stage before we go further or faster. Please try it. Let me show the. So I will explain what is happening here. It might be a little bit confusing for us that, oh, is this magic? It's not magic. I will explain what is happening there. So are you through? If you are done, please let me see a reaction.
Can you please keep your screen visible?
You need this, right?
No, your VS Code.
You want to see the VS Code, okay? This.
Thank you.
So let me just show this too for anyone that needs it. And also see this for anyone that needs this. So I need the first 5 persons to drop in the message that they've been able to. So if you have been able to get there to that stage and you've been able to check it on the browser, can you put done in the message box? Put done in the message box. Done. D-O-N-E. Done. Done. Okay, so we have how many done now? We have 4 dons. I need 2 dons more so that we can move on.
It's done, but I've done this is my first web page and I've done the other part, but it's telling me on the side that problem 1, like it's saying when I clicked on it, it said syntax error, unexpected end of file.
Okay, please share your screen. Let me see what you have experiencing. Okay, so this is where you are at. Oh, look at you opened H1 tag. but you didn't complete it. Can you clean that, what you have on line 15? Yeah. Yeah. Just type H1. It will complete it for you. You just type H1. Press enter. Press enter. Can you see? It has opened an H1 tag for you and it has closed it for you. So where you have your cursor blinking is where you want to write your PHP code. So maybe you need my screen. You can look at my screen to see what you need to type there. You want to put this code within that H1. And what we are trying to achieve is we are trying to call this variable into that tag, right? So we want to be able to greet user from the web page so that the user can see that greeting directly from the backend. Okay, that is what we are trying to do. So from here, like this is the backend in this script. From here, so it's like combining the front end and the back end in one script. That is what I'm doing right now. So just so that you can really understand it. So from here is the front end, which that's what the browser is interacting with. Okay. So what you are doing is doing whatever, setting whatever variable, right, and making it available to the front end by including this guy within the front end code. Okay. So we can also have this in different files. We can have them in different files. Okay, and then we'll connect them somehow. But just for now, we want to be able to write them together. That's why I'm showing you this way. Please get it so that you are not confused, right? This is showing in the browser, and this is working the backend in the backend development server. Okay. So Tianola, have you been able to do that?
Yeah, I've done that. Yes, I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
But
so yes, you can
beside
run it now. Go and run it. First, go and run PHP space index. Can you clear your terminal first? Yes, click on hide to hide that. Clear your terminal by typing clear. Type clear there. Yeah.
Sorry.
Good. So now PHP, yeah.
Yeah.
So then pass your
Don't.
No. First run it and let's see that it's running properly. Run it on the terminal. Say no, just PHP space index.php. No, don't put minus. Just type first run. I want you to run it on the terminal first before you start a server.
Okay.
Then press enter. Can you see? So it's working. Yeah. Can you see your name there? Hello, Antonia Tomori, right? So now clear it so that you can have more space on your terminal. Can you clear? Just to avoid confusion. It's not required that you always clear. Just to avoid confusion. So now start a server by typing PHP. So if you can see my terminal, you can just copy it. I mean, you can just check it from here. PHP space dash capital S as to you are telling the PHP development server to start a server for you. And then it should use this host, which is localhost, and then colon use this port, which is 8000. And then press enter. So can you see that it's telling you that it's now, it has started the server. Right? The server is listening on that URL. So copy that URL and open your browser. Copy the URL, HTTP stuff, colon // what you have in front of listening on. That's what you want to copy.
Yeah.
Or just click on it. Can you see listening on? Listening on.
Yeah.
I see listening on. Yeah. Click on that URL in front of you. Just click on it. Or press is it control or command? You have control and then click on it. No, press control on your keyboard, then you click. First press control on your keyboard, then you click on that URL itself.
Yeah, that's what I did.
No, you are not clicking on the URL. You are clicking on the tip. Click on the URL itself. Press control and click on the URL. Control, and don't press hold, don't drag the hand, just place your mouse on it and click. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you. What I actually wanted to show you is this on the left. That was what I was saying.
No, don't go there. Don't go to that place. That was because you were doing your PHP script was not valid. And that was what we corrected on line 15. We've corrected that already.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
get? You had an error there, and so it complained about it.
Okay.
Do you understand? Yeah. So just be on the terminal. So how many done do we have now?
5.
So I just hope that every other persons have been able to do it as well, because we only have 5 done here. Okay. So now let's just move forward. So now that we have what we have happening here, right, is that our server, we have turned our laptop to a server, In this case, PHP development server is representing a web server. Okay, it is representing a web server. I don't want to go too deep into that to start explaining how PHP development server is going from the web server. We have Apache, Nginx. I don't want to go into that. That will further too advanced. A little too advanced for us. Okay. So, but just know that once you type php-s localhost column 8000, you are starting a development server. Okay. And with that, it will automatically pick index.php and it will be showing you your website. All right. Now, let's see what happens if I add a link here and then I say I just type A, right? And then I put login.php in here, right? And then I pass my, sorry, I just put login here, login. Okay, look at this so that you're not confused. This is the line that I just added, and then I save it. If I come here now and I refresh it, so I have login here. Okay, I have login here. If I click on this login, you will see what happens. Take note of what happens here. Can you see? It has redirected the URL to this script. So we now have the host, which is the local host, the port, which is the which is 8000. That's the port that the server is listing on, right? And then this is the PHP script. Okay, so it called that PHP script, and then it ran the PHP code that is in there, and whatever we ask the PHP script to echo, it echoes it, and that's why we have. If you look at that, our login again, what instruction did we tell it? Declare this variable as 4, declare this variable as 6, x variable plus y variable, set that as the z variable, and then echo z variable. If we now say echo something else and say 10, and then we say the answer, look at this, let me do it this way so that it can be, say, for example, we are saying x variable set to be 4, right? And then we save this. So we are echoing this guy completely, literally rather. So we are saying echo y variable set to the 6. Okay, and then we'll come here to say and then we're now saying the result of x plus result of x plus y is set. This is z is the result of x plus y, which is equal to be this. Look at this clearly, look at this carefully. I didn't do anything special, right? I just pass my echo here, and then I'm giving a comment just in text, not comment in that sense. I'm just, showing the user what I did. Okay, the x variable set to be is set to be 4, y variable is set to be 6. Okay, set to be 6. Okay, z is the result of x plus y, which is equal to be this. Okay, so if I save this now and I come to let me see. Yeah, let me close this guy. Then I come here to refresh or go back. If I say go back, it should go back to index, and then I click on it again. And you see x variable set to be 4, y variable set to be 6. Z is the result of x plus y, which is equal to 10. Okay, so you can see that there's nothing much in all of those things. So we have talked about setting of variables, setting of integers, setting of string, and echoing of string. So I believe we have some idea of what we're trying to do there. All right, so let's go to something else quickly. Let's go to writing comments, right? If I want to give comments, these comments are lines that are not interpreted. They are not seen as code. Okay, they are just to guide or to give description about the actual code. For example, if I put double slash here and I say set the variable, let me remove these guys so that you not confuse us. So I set the variable and I say set the variable. Set the variable. Okay. So this line is a comment because I had this forward slash. It will not be run or interpreted like code. This will be interpreted, but this will not be interpreted because it is a comment. So PHP interpreter will jump it. Okay. So if I say set the y variable, set x variable, set y variable, set z variable. So all of these are comments, and you can see it can only this forward slash can only work for one line. Okay, if I want to have multiple lines, it's either I put another forward slash there and I say compute z. Do you get? But if I want them to be all in one comment, then I can use a multi-line comment, right? Then I can put whatever I need to put inside this. So you can see forward slash star, write whatever I need to write, and close it with forward slash star. That is the comment. So if I run this now, it will not show in our code at all. And you see that it's just what I echoed that's showing. This is not being, if I echo anything here, to say echo, this is the start. This is the beginning. It's far like this, right? You see that the expectation is when it runs this, it should at least run this too. But it will not, it will jump this guy because it's a comment. This is the beginning of a file, then go straight to 10, right? It will not run that guy. So that is comments. So you've learned single comment, single line comments, multiple line comments. In that case, what is next in my list here? We've talked about echo, talked about variables, setting variables, talked about comments. Let's quickly go to data types. I think that's what I have here. Comment, sorry. Go to data types. So in PHP, you have some key types that you work with. Okay. So if I come here to create a new file, for example, and I call it data dash types dot php. Okay. And then, as usual, like I said, always start your stuff with what PHP and close it with this. Okay. So we have, what are the list of data types that we have? So I will say data types. Okay. So one by one with the string. Okay. So we have string, and that is what I explained to us the other time, that whatever you type, right, that you have to impute, that you have to wrap within quotes. Say you are declaring a variable and you say first name, don't forget we did this the other time. And then we say Adebayo. So this is a string. Okay. So the reason for data types is every programming language needs to have a list of data types that they can work with, right? And that is because the computer, which is, which has the processor and all of those things, need to know how to deal with every data to send in. So I told you when you are declaring a variable, what is happening is a location is being set on the processor, on the memory, right, that holds that value. So in this case, there has to, even there is a type, it has a way of holding each types, right? For this string now, is able to tell that this is string. It's just that PHP is not strongly typed. For strongly typed languages, you might need to first declare a keyword to talk about the something like this, to specify the type of variables that you are declaring. But in PHP, you don't need to do that in declaring a variable. You just give it the value, and the type of value, the way the value looks, right, will tell you whether that value is a string or it's an integer or any other type. So I can say first name, right? So another one is let me say integer, right? Integer. Then we can say this is good, and I can say age, right? So if I say 15, for example. So first name is Adebayo. Age is 15. You can see the difference between the two. I didn't put this in the quote, but I put this in the quote. Do you understand? Okay, so the next one we can have is float. Float are decimal points. Okay, they are numbers that are that have decimal points rather. Sorry. So if I say height, let me say height. Right? If your height is 5.4, then this will be regarded as float because it has what? Decimal points. Okay, so I close that. Another one is Boolean. Boolean, right? Boolean is a true or false or yes or no kind of data type. It means it can only go two ways. either going left or it's going right. Right? It's either a yes or it's a no. It's either true or it's false. So if you say are you a programmer, then I say no, you are a programmer. So let's put it like that. You are a programmer. Then I say true. I say true. And you see that I'm typing true literally. I'm not putting in any code, and I'm not using, just the same way I did this. If I do it like this, then it's no longer Boolean. Do you get? So it has to be in this format. Okay. So if I say if I say you can cook, and then I say false. So this is a Boolean. This is another Boolean. Okay. So another one is array. So an array is a list of data. I say data because the data could be numbers, it could be string, it could be Boolean. It's a list of other data types. Okay, so if I say user one, for example. Okay, say user one, and then I do this. Once I put this square bracket, then that automatically makes this an array. I know in the past we used to declare array like this, but this is kind of slower. So you don't do this because it's just slower. It's relatively slower. Okay, so just do this. Once you do this, it saves it as an array automatically. Okay, and then you can now pass anything inside it. You can say first name. You can make it a key value kind of thing by specifying the key that you want it to have. If you say, let me press enter, and then I say first name, and you see that it's in form of an arrow, which is a pointer. This is the key, and then what follows will be the value. All right, this is equal to, this is greater than. Okay, so first name, I can say Adebayo, or I even pass a variable there. I can pass another variable there, which is this first name. I can pass it there if I like. Okay, so last name. So let me pass a variable here and say first name. Okay, here let me say last name. This, let me say age. Age is, then let me pass that guy. Right, you can see that for each element, I separate them with a comma, right? So that's what you do when you declare an element in an array. You separate them by a comma. So if I go to the next one, I can say height. Then I set the value in this case, since I've already declared. So I'm using these variables because I've declared them at the top already. Right? If those variables exist, you can declare them, right? So you can do this, and then you have your array. You have your array. Okay. So, and then you can also have an array, another array. You can say so if maybe you have a list of books that you read, right? So you can say favorite books, and then you say, so you have to put a comma here to separate it, and then that will be another array. That will be another array, and then you can say Bible, for example. You can say you know, anything, just put anything there. You get just a list of the type of books that you read, that you like, something like that. So you can see that this is another array itself. Although you are not if you don't specify the key, you know, these are the keys and these are the values. If you don't specify the keys, or so it means you are not using this guy at all. Whatever you specify there would automatically be the value. So it will be PHP will assign the keys by itself. If we call this 0, this will be 1, and this will be 2. You know, it will start from 0 and assign those keys by itself automatically. That is because we are not assigning keys, and we call those associative arrays. You know, but because we are not assigning those keys, right, it will automatically just give them some numeric keys by itself. This will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2, and like that. So that is an array. So yeah, we have another one called object. So this will be okay. This will be 6, right? Object. Okay, an object are, you can say user2. Say address. Should I just say, let me just say user2, and then let me say. So if I want to create an object now, objects are supposed to be in form of something like this. They're supposed to be like this, in this form. You know, the way you have your arrays starting with or having square brackets. Objects are supposed to have something like this. Okay, and then they can be a collection of other objects, or a collection of certain details about a particular object or data type, or they can as well be a collection of arrays. Okay, so but then you don't start them like this. I'm just showing you this so that when you see this in the output, you will not be surprised. Maybe you convert to a JSON object and then you send it out. You will not be surprised. What you do when you create object is you cast type. So like this now, you can either change this to an object by saying object, and then you pass this array. So it will automatically change all of these guys, right, to the object type. That is one way. Another way is to say object 2 is equals to, you use the std object, and so then you say new std class. So if you use std class, right, and then you pass it, then you can now begin to set the variables and say user2 as so attribute of the element. You can say that it has name, and name is equals to Adebayo Olukunle. Do you get? Then you can say sorry, user2, this guy, what's the age? The age is 20. You can see that it's different from the way you declare arrays. So because I declare these arrays all at once, right? You can declare an array and convert it to an object. Okay, you can also create an std object fresh. Okay, and then you begin to set the elements. One after the other. You can also do that, set the element after the other for arrays. But I just didn't want to bother us. But if you are going to do that for this array, for example, you can just say maybe you want to add a new one, and then you want this to be completion, and then you come here and say share. So I'm adding this thing to this array. By the time we read, you will see how it will look. Now that we have done this, okay, let's echo this guy. Let's bring this guy out. So if I use echo here, it might not work because echo works with only a few data types like the string and numbers and the likes, it will have to convert it to string. Even if it's number, it will have to convert that number to string. So echo work basically with string, right? So I will use var_dump, which will show us the data type and the values. So let me say var_dump, and let me just comment this guy for now. To comment, if I say command / or control / after highlighting it, to comment all of them. I don't want that to run yet. I just want to see the values of these guys. So if I come here to my index and I add another link to it to call it data types. So data types.php, that's the name of the file. Okay, so I can do that from here. When I go back to, let me go back to index so that I can call it. So I can either just paste the stuff in front of it like this. I can say / data types.php. I can do it like that. It will go. Or since I've already declared a link here, I can click on this link that I've declared here. So there are two ways to access it. It's either you come to the address bar here, / put / and then type the name of the file and then press enter. Can you see what it has done now? It has given me the output. What is it showing? It's showing this line. It's showing this line. It only declared these guys behind the scene. You are not going to see anything. But because I use var_dump, not echo now, var_dump to show what the array looks like, then it's going to show me everything. So can you see? Can you see? Telling me the key, that the key is first name and the type of that key is string, right? And the value is Adebayo. Another key is last name. The type of that key of the value is string, and that's the actual value is Olukunle. The age, in this case, the key is age. The type of the value is integer. The length is 15. So all these numbers that you see is the length. Okay. So then, so yeah, so okay, yeah. So this is integer, and then the value is 15. The height, in this case, is float, and the value is this. Okay. So for the string is the length that is right in here, the length. Okay. For this one, so it's just the value, right? Then favorite book, that, and that, and that's what you have. That's what you have there. Okay. So the same thing will happen to if I had not, let me comment this, if I had done this. Okay, so what else do we have? Just to quickly make sure that we round up on data types. We have null as well, null. So null means void, right? There's nothing in that variable. That variable does not hold anything. Okay, so null. Then I say no. Do you understand? So let's say, for example, I say sex. Okay, and I don't, or let me say gender now, gender. But I don't want to identify with any gender. A gender could be male, it could be female. We have a lot of stuff nowadays, but I don't want to identify with any gender. So we can make that null, and when we echo it, we'll see that it will show null. So basically, that's all the very basic data types that we have. But you can take note, you can see that array and object, they seem to be a little more complex. They seem to be a little more complex in that you can have different types of data, other data types stacked into them. You can have different types of data types stacked into them. Okay, so that is that. on data types. Okay. So if you got it up to that point, please can I see your hands up? Yeah, go ahead. Do you have a question? So if you got up to that point, just show a reaction, or you just drop gotten on the text message. Okay, good. So just to confirm, please, let me confirm. Imole, please, are you there? Or Shegun?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, what did you say?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that is it till 6 p.m. Nigerian time, 5 p.m. UK time?
No, we are actually done. It's 2 hours. So
It's 2 hours. Okay.
yeah, so it's 3 to 5 p.m. Nigerian time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you are done, you can wrap up.
All right. So just to quickly wrap up on what we have. Yes, we'll take maybe some questions if you have any. You can just drop them on the message box if we can quickly address them. Right. I will have loved to quickly show us a function, how a function works, and how we can use some of these data types. But because our time is fast spent, based on the fact that we were setting up the editor and all of those things, maybe we can do this the next time. What we'll do next is we'll make good use of these data types, write a proper function, do some conditional statements, if statements, and the likes, and for each loop, then we'll introduce us to Laravel. Because basically, we won't be working directly with PHP like this. We'll be using the framework that is built on PHP, which is called Laravel. But there is no way we can work with Laravel without understanding what data types are. Okay, we should be able to work with data types. What have we done so far? We've been able to write our first PHP. We know what PHP is. Okay, we know that it's a backend language. We now know how to create files in VS Code. We know how to run it on the terminal using the PHP development server. Okay, we know how to also start a development server and then run it on the browser. We've been able to combine PHP and HTML together, and then we'll see how we pass our PHP variables in the HTML of the else have we learned. Then we have done comments. We know how to declare variables. We know how to what comments means and how to write them. And lastly, we're able to deal with data types. And I said if there was time, we would have been able to touch conditional statements, writing functions, and using looping as using for each, while, do while, and the likes. And then we will now proceed to Laravel. So maybe next time we'll be able to touch all that. Okay, but please let's strengthen our hand. Let's use echo and var_dump to output whatever we are able to write in PHP, output it, start the server, view it in the browser. So I think that will be all for now. If you have any questions, you can please take them before stop today. Apologies that we have spent more than our time. So any questions? Olaide, please go ahead. Olaide, are you there?
Yeah, let me wait for Olaide.
Yeah, please, after Olaide, then it will be you. Olaide? Olaide, are you there? Okay. Tinola, you can go first then.
Thank you. I just want to ask that I was able to get everything you taught us today. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you so much. God bless you. But is it possible we're able to get the recording so that we can go over it over the week and just go over what you've showed us over the week all over again.
Okay. Okay. Yes, the video is being recorded. The whole tutorial has been recorded, so it will be dropped on the WhatsApp group, just like they did for the last one as well. So you'll be able to go over it.
Yeah. Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. My question is, can a string also be in a single quote something? I've heard people say that.
Yes. You can use a single quote. The difference between you using a single quote and a double quote for string is that for a single quote, you cannot pass a variable into it. If you pass a variable, it will just simply show you whatever you pass inside, right? But if you notice the other time, using a double quote, I can pass $X and it will show, instead of showing $X directly on the browser, to show the value of that variable itself. It's able to evaluate a variable. Do you understand?
Yes,
if you
sir.
use a single variable, it will just output whatever you put inside. But if you use a double variable, you can pass a variable inside it. For example, if you can still see my screen, if I say echo my name is, or my age is this, and I close it like this, you can see that it's able to retain the color of this variable X. So if I echo it now, it will show my age is 10. It will not show my age is $X. It will show my age is 10. Do you understand?
Okay.
So, but if I use
Yes,
a
sir.
single quote, it will show my age is $X, so $Z. Do you understand? To show my age is $
Yes, sir.
Z. That's the difference. So yes, you can.
Okay. I have another question. I
Okay.
noticed that when you were doing the array,
Yeah.
When it was maybe you are trying to use words or text, you were putting them in double quote strings. Then when you were putting variables, they were not put in double quotes.
Yes.
Is that how?
So
yeah,
that's how you declare. Yes, that's how you declare it. You know, I declare the variable here. I'm an array here by using this square brackets, and this is the key.
Yeah.
This is the value for this key. Okay.
I'm talking about that value.
Yes,
that
we are talking
value
about this value. So because it's not like I want to write a string inside directly.
Okay.
So I don't need any quote at all. I just need to pass the name of the variable itself directly. But if I were to do something like Mr. This is what I would have done.
Oh,
I could do it like this, and there are other ways to also do it like this. There are other ways. Sometimes you might want to just do something like this. So it will not show these curly braces. It will just still show me Mr. Adebayo. Do you get what I mean? So
yes, sir.
Not to confuse you, at least for now, don't bother about the curly braces. Once you put a quote, then it means it probably means you want to also add some string.
Add something to it.
Yeah. So it will see this space by itself, it will see it as something, then it will also see this one. But if it's just a variable, no need to pass. Just declare, just pass the variable name. Any other question?
Okay. My third question is, when we're declaring the array, we're using two, is it equals to now, with a greater than symbol to form the but when it comes to the object, is that is a single, is a minus sign?
Yes, this is, look at this. This is when you are declaring multiple keys and value.
Okay.
Key value pair is what we are doing here. Key value pair, that's a pair. Another key value pair, that's another pair. We differentiate, separate them by comma like that. But once, let's assume we have declared this, and when we now found out that we need to also add another new value or element to that array. That is when we do this for array. You can see, and then we are now using the assignment sign, which is equal to pass the value. This key. So this is the key. In this case, this is the value. But for object now, right? Because we are going to use std class, that's the way PHP handles objects. If you are not typecasting an array to an object, right? You are not typecasting an array to an object. And there are still other ways of creating objects. When we get to the OOP side of things, then you'll be able to understand that part. But for now, right, is either you typecast an array to an object or you use std class. And once you use std class, what you are doing on this line is you are creating an instance of this class. And that's what user 2 will get. To now add elements or properties, to add properties to this instance of object, this is how you pass it, just like this. So this will be the key, this will be the value. This will be the key, this will be the value, and that's how to handle objects in PHP. Do you understand? Yes, if I had used var_dump, so just let this be an assignment for you. You use var_dump, to output the value of user 2. And then you see that it will list out that stuff for you and give you the data type as well. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So you can pass more and then you can have other things. So any other question from anyone? Is that all from your end already? Okay, so Ibukun Kolami said syntax error, unexpected identifier var_dump. Maybe you are doing something wrong. Yes. I don't know how you are passing or how you are using var_dump. If you are using it that exact way that I've used it, you should not be getting that. Fixed it. Okay, that was good. Okay, Abib Lai, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. So when you run that on the stuff on the local server, so
Yes.
I noticed that it is not bringing out the link like
From
the
your end?
href. Yes, unless I add the slash, like slash login.
Is it from the browser now or from the terminal?
From the browser.
The browser. When you go there, what is it not bringing? I'm here now.
Now, okay, so it's not going to bring out not this one, the previous one before we got to this.
Okay, that's the home page, right?
Yes.
The home page. You know, I said
Yes.
automatically if you don't pass anything, it will go to index.php.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
This is where I'm having issue. It's not bringing out this login data type. But it's
Yes,
the
that's
first
because
two.
yeah, that's you probably did not declare it or you don't write those ones. Let me show you.
Unless I add the stuff like in the browser stuff like index.php/login.
Okay,
At the local or what do you use?
okay, those things.
browser/login.php. Yes. Unless I add, that's when it's going to yes. It's now
Unless you
route
had what? Unless you had what?
like login.php.
Okay, is it inside login? I thought you said you are not seeing these links.
I'm not seeing it.
These links.
But
This
if
is
I add, yes, to route it to the like login.php.
okay.
But
Did you
if
type
I add,
this? Did you type this inside the href? Did you
yes,
type
yes,
the name file?
yes. Let me
Okay, I think you need to quickly share your screen. Let me help you on that.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, any other question from anyone?
Let me see my screen now.
Okay, so if there's no other question from anyone, let's allow people to share his screen, and that will be all for today. We are sorry for taking time.
Can you see my screen now?
It's coming up. Yeah, I can see it now.
So
okay, href calc.php calculation. Yeah. So is
So
it
I
showing
don't know.
calculation?
It's not showing. That's why I'm having an issue.
Okay. So let's go there.
This is the
Okay. Go back to VS Code. Let me see what you have. Is your server still up?
okay. Let me clear it. Okay, that's PHP. That's sorry.
No. Just put localhost here. Localhost column 8000. So I think I know the reason why you're not saying it. Okay, go there. Go back to VS Code. I can see what you are doing wrong. You can see that you are inside page.php.
Yes. Yes.
And this is not the default page. When you run that, it's going to open index.php. So your
Oh,
link will have to be inside index.php. If you want to see this page, then you have to go and put /page.php on your browser for it to
okay.
bring this calculation. So, but
Okay.
if you want it to show automatically, go and copy what you have on line 27 and put it in index.php, then you'll be able to see it. If you copy what you have on line 27 here,
Okay.
then go to index.php.
My default page is page.php. Okay. Inside index.
So that cannot be a default page in this case. Do you get? In
Oh,
this our case, it cannot be because it has to be named index.php.
okay. Okay.
Do you get?
Okay. I will change it and try it after the
Yeah.
class, after
Okay.
everything.
All right, that's fine.
So,
So yes, I think we are good now. If there's no other question, you can call it a day. Over to you.